everyone. This is yet another weekend episode of this little mini series called Unlock, Locked But Not Down. This is about amazing individuals, friends, colleagues, acquaintances that are actually looking at this very unprecedented circumstance differently. They are approaching it creatively, innovatively, either to upskill and upscale themselves and their businesses, or to help other individuals, or both. So today I'm very happy to have with me a longtime friend and acquaintance, Trina Choy. So Trina and I met years back. It'll probably be 4 or 5 years back when I was still with Singtel, doing very interesting work on big data. And just as means of introduction, Trina is currently a senior account executive at LinkedIn Sales Solution. She works very closely with sales leadership across APAC to empower their sales team with a tool to connect them to business opportunities. This tool is called LinkedIn Sales Navigator. She's based in Singapore, but God knows she travels. She looks after the Asia region, and her personal goal is to help others become a better version of themselves. Like, what's not to love about that, Trina? Trina, thank you so much for making time today on a Saturday. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me. I think it's really cool that we can connect again after almost 5 years, I think,
Yeah.
back when you were in Singtel. So yeah, really excited to see what this chat will bring.
Yes. And you know what, Trina, I noticed that like you are so good at, so I obviously love LinkedIn. I think it's a really great tool. And for everyone out there, build your profile, do your work well on LinkedIn, because my last 3 jobs have actually come through LinkedIn. So I'm a big fan of using it correctly. And today with Trina, we're going to talk about that. And Trina does an amazing job of sharing her knowledge on LinkedIn, both from a personal and professional point of view. So I thought it'd be great to have you here. How does networking change during a lockdown or a circuit breaker? Like, I get a lot of these questions on LinkedIn and just in general saying, what are some of the creative, innovative ways in which you, being an expert in that, can suggest people who still want to continue networking in this current situation? And by that, I mean, like, they may want to swap notes with like-minded professionals. They may want to discuss a business idea. They may want to look at job opportunities, any of those, right? So what are some of the things that you think they can do? And also, this new world that is going to come at us after this is over is going to be very different from the old world, right? So how do people make that transition? So I believe I've asked you 2 questions. Feel free to go at whichever one that you want to first.
So really cool. So let's talk about what networking used to be pre-COVID, right? Networking meant like you take a whole bunch of business cards, you go into a bar, you pay for your entrance fee for, like this networking event. And then in a very short possible time frame, like an hour or 2 hours, you try to exchange as many name cards as possible. You do a lot of handshakes, you try to find all these networks. And then what you do is you take that card, you bring it back, and then you start building that relationship. And to be very honest, in fact, a quick tip from LinkedIn is that actually 90% of top sales professionals actually use social selling even before COVID happened, right? So what they'll do is, even before they go to like a face-to-face business meeting, they will look at the guest list, and see who are the people they want to reach out to make sure that they have meaningful relationships and meaningful conversations with them. And I think now these days, instead of that handshake, in fact, now I think handshakes are, you can't do handshakes for a very, very, very long time.
Oh my God.
But it's all about, the virtual handshake, right? So you want virtual handshakes is basically like interacting with people and starting that relationship and strengthening that relationship. What you want to do is really to first have people allow themselves to make that virtual handshake with you. And the best way to do it is through your business card, right? Last time you shake hands and you exchange business card. These days, instead of the business card, what you have is your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so I'm going to say this for both, whether you're looking for a job or you're looking for like new customers, because I think both ways it's about connecting to new opportunities, business opportunities, whether is it for your next employer or your next customer, right? So I think the first thing you need to do is to take a look at your LinkedIn profile to see if this is basically what you want to bring across to whether is it your future employer or your future customer. Make it seem really human. Make it seem like it's a business card that you want to take and exchange. So like a quick fast tip would be, make sure you have a professional photograph. Second thing is, what you write will determine what the outcome that you want to have. So if, let's say, you want to build business opportunities, it's about talking about how you can help your customers. Yes, customers would love to hear that you're working with a top sales professional, but I think what customers want to hear is that you're helping them solve problems. You're helping them add value, right? You're helping them create something that they're trying to find a solution to. So create your LinkedIn profile in such a way that it says that, so that they'll want to interact with you. And the great part about that is that after that, right, it basically becomes a passive inbound way of getting leads and opportunities. So I've got people who came up to me saying, hey, I've seen what the work that you've done on LinkedIn, and I want to know more about what you're doing. Yeah. So it's a little bit like it used to come from an agency, right? It's like a portfolio.
Right.
And similarly, if you're looking for an employer, right, and you're looking at employer where employer also wants to see how you can add value to the company. It's almost the same thing as well, right? How can you add value to the company? How have you added value to companies you work for? And when they click on your LinkedIn profile, it needs to be something that's cleaned up, right? Not something that's updated like 5 years ago, for example, because then they get a lot of outdated information. Both ways, you also want to be a subject matter expert in that specialization or that field that you want to be in. So whether is it in a form of, let's say, a software space, or it could be like in the IT industry, it could be in the telco industry, etc. You want to make sure that whatever you're bringing across shows that you're an expert in what it is. Yeah, similarly to you, Dee, I also got hired by LinkedIn through LinkedIn without applying for a job. Yeah, so I think it's also the work that I've done previously that was showcased across my portfolio that allowed me to get the opportunity to work at LinkedIn now.
Amazing, super helpful. I think what Trina's trying to tell us is a lot of this we know intuitively, but I think keeping in mind what she's told us, appearing professional is very important, and showcasing your work. Oftentimes, a lot of people mistake it as showing off. It's very different from showcasing and showing off, right? If you have had a team that's worked with you on a particular project, give credit to the team is also my policy. It isn't you that has gone ahead and done this amazing, for example, campaign in my case, or probably a sales deal in yours. So I think being authentic on any platform goes a long way, and do take the tips that Trina's given to ensure that your profile is robust and up to date. Okay, then we'll get down to, Trina, what are some of the resources or tools that are currently available on LinkedIn, which people can continue to use to network or learn from each other? Why I ask this question is because I see you guys doing a lot of stuff like learning resources or just networking resources, or new tools that you have introduced. So just talk me through what you think are some of the tools that people can easily access.
Cool. So I think the first thing is LinkedIn Learning. So LinkedIn Learning is basically one of the products that we have on offer. It's similar to where you would do an e-learning platform online as well. And we actually have got many courses on social selling. So if let's say you're new to this social selling, you don't know what to do and everything, there is a course called Social Selling Foundations, which you can check on when you get into LinkedIn Learning. And I think that's a great start to literally just listen through what people have to offer and the different tips in order to see how you want to be a social seller. In terms of tools, the product that I sell basically is called LinkedIn Sales Navigator. What it does is it basically gives you access to all the 690 million members that we have globally. But more important than that, it's not just about the numbers, but it actually allows you to find the right prospects in a very quick period of time. So for example, if you're looking for new business opportunities and you're looking at a list of customers that you want to find the right people, instead of plowing through tons and tons and tons of profiles in just a few clicks and few filters, you'll be able to find the right people in a few seconds. And I love that because it really makes us a lot more productive.
Amazing. So 2 points to note, everyone. Use LinkedIn Learning for imbibing various skills. Social selling is, one of them. And then consider LinkedIn Sales Navigator if you're looking to grow your business networks, etc. So check both of these out. Trina, about a week back, I think, you conducted a webinar with a colleague of yours on how to create valuable engagement with prospects on LinkedIn, right? Could you, for the people that missed it, could you share the 5 or 6 or 3 top tips here for viewers of Unblock?
Okay, cool. So I think the first thing would really to be your authentic self. I think we talked about this since we started this call. Really, people want to see genuinity. People want to make sure that you're authentic. So really bring your authentic self to work, to customer meetings, etc. Second is about educating first and selling later. like the tool that I'm selling, for example, is new to a lot of people as well. So you want to be able to teach them something so that when they walk away from the call, they learn something out of it. So that when they're interested, they will come over to you and they'll buy naturally. So don't worry about the selling. Think about the educating. I think the third point would be, regardless of whether we're selling through the screen or we're selling face to face, selling, whether it's selling yourself or selling the products that you have, is really about human to human interactions. So the other side of you is still a human. They don't want to be sold to, just like how you don't want to be hard sold to as well. You want to be able to treat them as the way that you treat yourself if you're on the other side of the screen. The fourth one, which I spoke about just now a little bit as well, is to be a subject matter expert at scale. Share information, be genuine about it, post a variety of short form posts, long articles, or even video posts, because you want to engage your customers at scale in a very specialized topic. And lastly, and I think this is something that we've think about or thought about pre-COVID as well, but it's even more important now, is really to be compassionate. I think it's really unprecedented times. You might not know what the other side is going through, whether they're at home or at work. They could be dialing into your call, but you don't know what they're thinking behind their mind. So what you really want to do is to really just be compassionate, be empathetic, and really the relationships that you build will bring you through COVID, and become a lot stronger and better outside of this situation.
Trust you to make it so great. These are really good tips, and I'll try and sum it up in the end slate so that people take this away as well. But I was just thinking that a lot of people may want to follow you on LinkedIn. So everyone, I think even the webinar she put out the link of it. So if you have missed it, you can go to her profile, Trina Choy, on LinkedIn, and the end slate will have all that information. So I think some of it is intuitive, some of it is new information. The intuition needs to be married with the new information so that we can be somewhat successful during these unprecedented times, is what I think Trina is also saying. There is a new AI powered feedback tool that I read an article about. It's very new. I think it's only a week old or something that I saw that article on LinkedIn, that apparently helps people be better prepared for interviews. So I wanted to spot a light on any of these resources that can help people either upskill during this period or be better prepared for what's coming after, right? Like you mentioned, LinkedIn Learning has a lot of those resources. Sales Navigator can help you really understand, if you use this time to get on to Sales Navigator, you're probably better prepared for the world after. But if you know anything about this AI-powered feedback tool, Trina, would you like to share with viewers how they can use it and how it can be helpful?
Cool. So I think the backstory behind this is that previously a lot of interviews were done face-to-face. A lot of interviews were done through telephone calls, but minimal, if any at all, will be done through video interviews. So what this thing that LinkedIn has released is really allows you to practice your video interviews by recording it and uploading it into this AI tool. And then they'll be able to provide feedback, such as like maybe if you use the word a lot, or you scratch your head a lot, or you pick on your nose and things like that. You'll pick up all these things to tell you so that you know that you need to be aware of it. I think the second great part about it is that once you've recorded this video, you can send it over to your friends as well. So your friends can actually see it from a third party point of view that, I think you've been, scratching your nose a little bit too much, for example. Because I think all these also shows nervousness. Yeah, and this AI tool basically helps you overcome it. So it's a little bit like how you would practice an interview with somebody face to face. I think this basically puts the video part of it on it so that you'll be able to see yourself, record yourself, understand it, and improve on it the next time. I think once you apply for a job, that's the option available.
Okay.
And then you'll be able to see whether you want to do a AI feedback tutorial kind of thing where you video record it and things like that.
Okay, amazing information. I think this is super helpful, everyone. If you are currently preparing for a job or just, kind of applying and want to learn a little more, really, like in the earlier world, there'd be calls, there'd be a pre-interview, there'd be like a research call. Now, all of this has boiled down to just one interview. And it's really important that we get the hang of it. And especially if you're living alone, or if you want feedback genuinely, I think this could be a very helpful tool. Thanks, Trina, for sharing. So I think you've answered most of our questions. Now down to some personal stuff, because life, like you said, isn't all about work. Trina, in your personal time, are you doing anything interesting, or we love calling it out of the box to keep yourself sane, happy, and healthy? And in that respect, if there are podcasts, books, music, etc., you're listening to.
Okay, so I think for me it's like a couple of things. First is I've picked up cooking and baking on weekends. So I
Ooh.
usually never go to the kitchen. I always used to tell my friends that like in my future state kitchen, I would just have an air fryer just to fry nuggets if I'm hungry, and a microwave oven to reheat food, right? But like now I'm realizing the importance of having like a nice pot, a fire that's, like it can be adjusted and things like that. So I've actually made kimchi pancakes, which I used to pay like $25 for when you go to a Korean restaurant. And that is my default. Whenever I step into a Korean restaurant, I must have kimchi pancake, right? And now I'm like, oh gosh, it's not that difficult to make because it's so hard to like get to a Korean restaurant these days. Yeah, and to make it really doesn't take a lot of time. Doesn't take a lot of I think if I'm not wrong, it was just flour and water and a bit of salt and the kimchi, right? So it
Clearly,
doesn't
you're
take a lot
making
of
it sound much
ingredients.
easier, Trina, than it
Yeah.
is. It sounds complex to me.
Yeah, so like I've made it about three times. No, sorry, two times now. I've made it two times now. The first time was just to try it, and then the second time I've made it in bulk. So what I do is I usually don't have a lot of time on weekdays lunches, so I'll pre-make on Sundays. Like I make like 6 pancakes or something, and I'll eat it during the whole week, so that
Okay.
I've got food throughout the day. So that's something that I've done. And I'm spending a lot more time in the kitchen than I usually thought I would be. I've also picked up baking. So I made a basket burnt cheesecake, I think about 2 weeks ago on the oven. And I was like, oh, I think this is going to fail, but it was actually pretty decent. And
I'm
I
so
think
hungry now.
yeah, so my parents stay in the same place. We stay in the same house, right? So they've been finishing up all the goodies that I've been making. So that's great. Um, I've got a lot of hard copy books that I've not read.
Mm.
And I'm trying to tell myself, okay, I'm going to finish like at least 3 books in a month, right? But I really like, okay, switch off every screen and just start reading. So to me, that's been helpful. The book that I'm currently reading now is actually a book that I bought through because I'm a Christian, so it's actually a book about right believing, and
Okay.
it's a book that I think I've purchased. So I mean, I'll strip off the Christianity part of things because this is a call where we want to be as neutral as possible. But I think a lot of things that the book has said really resonates well with me at this period
Mhm.
because your mental health and your mental strength is probably the most important thing now
Yes.
compared to everything else, right? So in the book, there are a lot of things where they talk about, of course, the religion part of things, but it's also about framing. It's about telling your mind that you can do it and to be really positive about things in order to get over challenges and circumstances like these. So I think that has resonated very well with me, and it was really funny because it's a 300 pages book, and I read like half of it in 2 or 3 nights, which I was pretty impressed because I didn't realize my reading speed was that fast. So yeah, that's something that I've been doing. But of course, just like many others, being my authentic self, I've also watched a lot of Netflix. So I think I finished up the third K-drama series that I've watched this year since
Okay.
January. And I usually only watch K-drama series once every 3 to 5 years. Because it's only like something that's super, super, super good, then I watch it. I don't usually watch K-drama. So I've watched I think I'm just about finishing up the third one now. Because they haven't released the last couple of episodes. But yeah, like many others, I think we've not locked in that much time on Netflix as we will usually do because of the more time that we have now. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, there is a whole lot more on Netflix to watch, Trina. I'm going to send you a list.
No.
Okay, but this is so interesting. Like, I love what you said about mental health, and I mean, in the spirit of vulnerability and honesty, there are so many days where I struggle. Like, the mind plays tricks on you, and the being locked in a house for what, 50 days now plays amazing tricks on you, right? Like,
Yeah.
and what do you tell yourself every morning when you get up? What do you tell yourself through the day when you're literally feeling yourself plummeting? And what do you tell yourself? Like, the mind has become uh, your greatest resource or your greatest enemy, right? So I love that you're reading up on that. And also, just like you, I was looking at houses once in Singapore, and I saw a really nice house, and I walked out and I said, oh, I like this. And then the realtor said, but you haven't seen the kitchen. Do you not need the kitchen? And I said, Oh, kitchen. Yes, right. Okay, I'll check the kitchen. So yes, I share your frustrations in the kitchen. Last question, Trina. When this ends, and one hopes that this ends soon, will you be a different person? And if yes, how?
Okay, so I think same like you, right? I think when it comes to like mental health and things like that, you get a lot more time to think these days, right? Previously, you used to be so busy doing a lot of things. Now you don't have time. Now you just have all these time to think. And I think one thing that I would like to embrace, at least when this ends, is to embrace the closet introvert in me. So I used to go out a lot. Like literally, I would have like 5 to 7 meals, or more than that. Actually, I'll probably have like so I have meals out most weekends and every weekday evenings, and then of course I've got meals in the office as well. So I literally eat out almost all the meals I have in a week, right? And this is always, especially in the evenings, will always be with friends or acquaintances or networks and things like that. But I think this circuit breaker has really proven that it's really time for me to treasure my me time a lot more.
Mm.
So I want to stay at home a bit more often. I want to have me days, right? I want to have days where it's just myself. Whether it could be Netflix, of course, or it could be reading a book. But I think this period has shown that you need to look after yourself first before you look after other people, and don't get distracted by noise by like just going out saying yes to everything. Prioritize and tell yourself what is it that you want to spend your time on, in order to make yourself a better person for yourself and those around you. So yeah, for me, is I mean, I've always been an extrovert, and now I'm being forced to be an introvert, and I think that I will not lose that once this ends.
So amazing. Like I literally felt that way the other day. I said, like a lot of what I used to do was reacting to white noise, and just because that's the expectation. And now I'm like, I actually don't need to go out that often, no. But Trina, this has been so helpful. Like I must tell you, I've really enjoyed our chat. I feel like we've covered so many topics, both professional and personal, and it's such a great joy to reconnect with you. Thank you so much for being part of Unlock, and I hope that when this comes out, people gain a lot from it. Thank you so much for taking time out on a Saturday, from the K dramas and the list of other things that were sent to you from Netflix, and stay inspiring like this, Trina, and keep helping people the way you are. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for inviting me. I think it's been a really joy to share this with you and everyone else. And
Thank
I
you.
wish you all the best for the series that you're doing. I think it's really, really good that you're trying to reach out to other people, and help them as well, because I think a lot of us are lost. But the worst part of being lost is not knowing how to find your way out.
Wow, Trina, you are just dropping like these amazing bombs, man. Like I love talking to people who can sum it all up for me and I don't have to do it. Thank you so much, Trina. Thank you.
No problem, no
Thank
problem.